Hi Aries, welcome to your March 2024 Astro Tarot Scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your Sun, Moon and Ascendant sign, but if you're only going to watch one, make sure it's for your Ascendant. It's going to be the most accurate for you on that day-to-day level. Remember, I am using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. I always put the transits that I'm talking about in the degrees and all of that stuff is always in the description, because when I'm in it and I'm going with it, I don't really have time to think about that because I'm obviously pulling the information intuitively, and obviously I've got my notes here as well. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. Those will be for your lunations later on, and remember, whenever I am, so if you would like to get your personal Astro Tarot Scope done, where we explore your chart and we look at some of the bigger transits or some of the transits that are coming up for you personally and how they're going to affect you. If you want to delve into that, you can get yours on the link in the description box below, and I would love to facilitate that for you. And you can check out all of my other weird and wonderful services as well. So the first transit that we're going to look at on the 8th of March, Uranus is going to square Mars, right? So Uranus is in Taurus. Mars, your ruling planet, at this point will then be in Aquarius, right? So this is happening between your second house of money, finances and resources and your 11th house. Mars is your ruling planet, right? And it comes into a tight square with Uranus, and this is happening across your gains, across the gains elements of your life, because your 11th house is the gains that you get from your business. It's the money that you make from the career effectively, right? So Mars is you, it's your ruler, and it's coming into a clash with Uranus, the ruler of the sign that Mars is actually inhabiting, which is really interesting. So Mars being action and energy, passion, excitation, all of that stuff. Uranus being the ruler, and it also represents sudden, disruptive, but awakening forces and factors, right? So there's a lot of change in this, and it can, even though it's a square is an energy of conflict, challenge, strife. Effectively, a square in astrology pisses you off enough to say, I'm not having this experience again. So you get proactive and you do something about it. All of this is happening in your in the house of your money, your possessions, your resources, and your values, your personal self-esteem. And Mars for you is your identity. It's also your deep psychological self, right? It's your physical body, because Mars rules both you and your ascendant, but it also rules Scorpio, which is your 8th house, right? Your deep sort of psychological self, your wounds, your fears, your traumas, but also your spiritual powers and gifts. So there's a test here to your mental faculties in some way, shape or form, right? And this could be in terms of a job. You might realize that something or, someone is going to be a bit more of a challenge than you realize. And you being you, Aries, are absolutely up for that challenge, right? What's more, the 11th house, as I said, being the gains that you get from your career or your business, and it's the house of your future goals and plans. Something now becomes very possible to you, but it's going to take an upgrade to your hardwiring like never before, right? So this could be physically, mentally, emotionally. It's probably going to be all of the above. It is a square, right? So your future goals and plans may be clashing with the resources that are available at the moment. So maybe you've got this plan for a new business or a new service or something in your life that you are chasing that you want to do, and you realize very quickly, shit, the money that I have right now isn't going to stretch that far. So you get really proactive about making more money. It's also potentially that some of the ideas or the paths that you have for your future will start to shift. They'll start to change. And because it is a square, you might find that this is about something that you want to do versus what help or resources is available to you. So to clarify on this, you've got the Strength card with the Hierophant card, wow, okay, and the Six of Wands. So one of the ways that this might show up for you The strength card speaks to your physical body, right? Very much so. The Hierophant card could also be, so it can represent like hospitals, etc. And then with the Six of Wands, so if you have health matters, health concerns, obviously I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, this isn't a diagnosis. But if you have health concerns, you might find something that you can do in a small way. So it's like maybe you've had a problem or a chronic issue of some sort, but you find a way around it that is smooth and easy that you can basically fit into your day. Now, when it comes to your resources and your money, if you are applying for loans, funding, resources, bursaries, or anything like that, you've got the green light. Now, the Strength card with the Hierophant card does suggest that you will have to fight for it. You will have to kind of push for it. But the chance for you to make your future goals and aspirations a reality are absolutely here. Now, with that Six of Wands on top of the Hierophant card, if you have been battling an institution of some sort, as you might be around this transit, you know, a larger group, larger social group, maybe, you know, a government institution or anything like that, you absolutely win, right? I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because this is a square between Mars and Uranus, which is quite an explosive mix. So that's something to consider. When it comes to and that, yeah, so that's Mars and Uranus. On the 14th of the month, the Moon, Uranus, and Jupiter. So Uranus, Jupe, Big Daddy Jupe, and the Moon are all coming into a conjunction. Now, the Moon and the Moon and Uranus will be directly together. I think it's at like 20 degrees, and then Jupiter will be at like, I think it's like 10 degrees or something or thereabouts. I know it's like about a 7-degree orb between them, but this is a big pile up of energy in your second house of money, finances, and resources. It's basically a stellium, right? So the space of your possessions and your self-worth, your second house is being lit up like a Christmas tree at this point. This is an exalted and a happy moon, right? The moon, Luna, she does good work in the sign of Taurus. Uranus has been there for a while, and Jupiter is amplifying the whole mix. There is opportunities here to get ahead when it comes to your finances. Maybe an element of something that either feels out of your control or it might feel like you need to react to something really fast. So watch out for that, because obviously the moon is your feelings, Uranus is something shocking, something that develops really quickly, and then Jupiter adding sort of fuel to the fire, if you like, is really amplifying that energy. There's a chance here as well that some kind of knowledge or information that feels like it's very much to the forefront. So this is like information that finds you, that sort of pushes you to act. It's like you kind of like, oh, you know, crap, like I'm going to have to do something about this. The moon really is for you, your feelings, and it also represents your family. Jupiter for you is your 12th house and 9th house ruler. And so there's potentially either a spiritual or an intangible feel to this as well, right? And then obviously Uranus there in the mix, which is the ruler of Aquarius, which for you is the 11th house space. There's a lot going on here. By this point, Mars and Uranus, the square is starting to ease off, but you will appear to, and you will sort of be appeared to be sort of moving forward or driving things forward at this point. So for this, you've got the Seven of Cups. Don't, like, you know, usually they say like, oh, you've got to diversify to make money and all the rest of it. That Seven of Cups is a warning to say don't spread yourself too thin. You've got this with the Knight of Pentacles. Aries, whatever the plan is when it comes to your money, your finances, your resources, and even your familial home connections, and also possibly your longer term future plans, stick to the fucking plan. Right? This is not a time. That Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Cups, it's like you're going to be really tempted to be like, right, I'm going to do everything all at once, and it's just going to be like spaghetti. Don't do it. Stick to the plan. That's what you're being asked to do here. Then you've got the Ten of Swords. This is basically saying that there is something that you need to see through when it comes to your finances, your money, your resources, and you are effectively being given a chance to see something through to its natural completion. It's not going to be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. And I also have to say, for those of you that have cars, I'm really sorry to say this is possibly, because it's a lot of pile up, you know, it's a big sort of amount of energy that's piling up in your second house, which is possessions and resources. And with these cards in particular, because of the Knight of Pentacles, this does suggest that there's probably a problem or an issue with a car that's going to cost you money. And I'm really sorry to say, but because it's the Ten of Swords, the chances are that this is going to be a car that will need to be replaced. You can have it fixed, but it might cost you just as much to fix whatever this problem is. It'll have something to do with the oil, something to do with the water or the combustion system of the car. So engine stuff, and not probably like easily fixable stuff. And so one of the things that I want to say to you is, with this, you need to consider it might be best just to replace it rather than sort of patch something up that you end up needing to do again later down the line. All right, on the 17th of the month, the Sun and Neptune are going to come into a conjunction in the sign of Pisces. This is decidedly spiritual, right? The Sun conjunct Neptune is always an interesting time because often we feel very floaty. It can drain the vitality of the Sun a little bit, but that's the heavy end of the spectrum. On the light end, the Sun is your creativity and Neptune is film and photography and fantasy. So if you've got pictures you need to take for social media, if there are things that you want to sort of upgrade and take pictures of to make it look better and do all of that stuff, this could be a really good time to do it. It could also be, though, that a film or some kind of music or art really profoundly speaks to you or affects you in a really deep way. I do expect some kind of major song or artwork or creative work to hit the headlines at this time and become like a force of nature. It's like, you know, where like someone releases a song and then all of a sudden the dance is like a massive thing, right? Or I don't know, somebody puts out a film and you know, the title of the film becomes something that echoes through eternity. You know, do you know what I mean? Like there's something that's going to happen around this time that will be, you know, it will hit the collective soul in some way, shape or form. Everybody's going to be like enamored with whatever this thing is, and it might hit you that much more profoundly. For you though, this is the wave of something new, right? This is ideas and realizations that come through your dreams. It might also be a transcendental sexual encounter for some of you, or even some kind of potent feeling that you can't put like into words necessarily, but you can feel it stirring within you. For this, you've got the Justice card, so it could lead to a commitment of some sort. You've got the Knight of Cups. So for a lot of you, this might, if you're single, this actually could be a time where a declaration of love, you know what, it's you and me, I fancy the pants off of you, or maybe you're the one making the declaration. In some way, shape or form, this has a very relationship orientated feel. For those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, this could be a refreshing of the love relationship. And you've got this with the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is Neptune, right? So this whole sort of conjunction between the Sun and Neptune in the sign of Pisces in your 12th house, it has a very sensual and potentially very sexual feeling to it. It also could be like you might really get very swept up in an emotion, in a feeling, in a connection of some sort. And it could just be really nice to feel that sense of, you know, I'm just, you know, in the reverie of it all. Remember, this is only a 3-day transit, effectively, the day before, the day of, and the day after. So let's say like this comes exact on the 17th. So it would be like the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th that is like really the transit window. So keep that as a consideration. All right, but look, right, it's so funny because the Hanged Man is Neptunian energy, and it is photography, film, you know, any of the fantasy stuff, and it's like you could get really hooked on that. It could be, you know, almost addictive in its sort of, you know, it just might really switch you on in some way. So for on the 21st, Venus conjuncts Saturn in the 12th house. So let's pop the sun out for a minute because we won't be able to fit everything, unfortunately. Right, so Saturn in the sign of Pisces will conjunct Venus. And Venus is exalted in Pisces, right? Venus does really good work here. She likes to be in this realm. So also in your 12th house, the space of dreams, your deep past. It's also self-sabotaging tendencies, but the 12th house is also your spiritual connection. It's the wind that sort of rushes up the back of your neck. It's the goosebumps on your skin. It's the stuff that you can't necessarily see or touch, but you can feel in some way. Venus in her exaltation. Venus for you rules your money, your finances and resources, and also your relationships. So this is a Venus who is powerful, and she's grounded next to Saturn in the 12th. She takes on a weight and a gravitas, right? Because she's connected to Saturn. So Saturn's giving her form, structure and shape, helping her anchor down her messages. This is really a way of making your dreams turn into reality. Saturn in the 12th is sobering a fantasy. Venus in the 12th is a glimmer of the dream, or maybe a glimmer of hope of some kind. Venus ruling money and resources, Saturn ruling the career and benefactors for you as well. There's a feeling in the air that there are many things are possible right now, and that the support around you in many ways, like they're acting as one. It's like the mystical spiritual realm is assisting you. People in the real world are assisting you. And it's like you've got this wonderful sense of support. You might not be able to put it into words, but you will feel it, right? They're acting as one. Venus softening Saturn's hardness, Saturn shoring up her fantastical dreamy leanings. There's a chance here that a dream becomes tangible through hard work and effort, yes, because Saturn's involved, but something shapes up behind the scenes before it's seen, and it provides you with the right kind of support to move ahead. Love this. For this, you've got the Queen of Wands, so in some way, shape or form, you show up for yourself. Wow, with the Page of Wands, so this will be an inspiration, a dream, a message, some kind of support. And look, bam, with the Ten of Pentacles. Not only are you getting support from the spiritual world, but you're getting support or good news that comes in from the material world around your job, around money, around resources, but also around the long-term legacy of those things. And with that Page of Wands, this is the letter of acceptance. This is the, we want to offer you the job. This is the, we would invite you to. This is, we want to work with you, whatever the case might be. There's a lot of really great energy in these cards for you. So I'm totally here for it. And that Ten of Pentacles with the Page of Wands, something inspired, providing you hold your ground and your boundaries, something inspired could really bring about some kind of financial blessing. So love that for you. All right. Have I just dropped one of my planets? No. All right. So the new moon is on the, let's pop these out. So the new moon is in the sign of Pisces, and I've forgotten the date and I haven't got it written down, so you'll have to forgive me. As I said, it will be in the description. So the Pisces new moon in your 12th house, this is a fresh start. I actually really like this for a fresh start to your spiritual outlook or beliefs. I feel like this might be a time where your personal connection to the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is rebooted in some way. And it is effectively getting you to, because it's a dark moon, so you're starting over. So you are effectively not reliving the past, but you're redefining your past in some way. For this, you've got the gate 14 and luck. You've got such a concentration of energies in your 12th house, and the 12th house is intangible. It is things like luck, things that come from the other realm, things that we're not necessarily in control of. So I love this for you. I think the Pisces new moon is going to be wonderful for you. I really, really do. So then on, again, I've forgotten the date, but you will then have the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra on the 25th. So that one I know because it's my mum's birthday. Now, obviously the excuse me, the eclipse, a Libra eclipse, this is in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, significant others. All manner of contracts, connections and commitments will be highlighted at this time, and it's an eclipse, so all bets are off. And I will say with an eclipse, 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after. So let's say from the 22nd of March right through to like the 28th of March, right? That's the period that you really want to be sort of paying attention to what's taking place, right? What is really showing up in that 7th house space for you of relationships, partnerships, contracts, etc. And for this, you've got the gate 10 and empower. The message behind this card is that when you empower yourself and you live your truth, you inspire and empower others to do the same. And it also suggests that how you see yourself is going to be shown to, you know, like when you get really down on yourself and then someone says something to you and you're like, wow, I didn't even realize that people saw me as that amazing or inspiring figure. You might find that somebody says something to you, a partner, a friend, a family member, a work colleague, maybe a contract of some sort gets offered to you and you think, wow, you know what, like actually I've got a lot to offer and I didn't even realize it. So that full moon lunar eclipse, I think, is going to wake you up in some way, shape or form, because you're going to see how others see you. And I think it's going to really support you or benefit you in some way. So that's really, really nice. All right. With that said, if you would like to get your personal Astro Tarot scope done, if you want numerology, if you want any of the good stuff that I've got coming up for you, including my new course, which is all about the court cards, that course is literally self-study, right? So I take you all the way through the 16 court cards. We look at the archetypes, we look at them as experiences, we look at them as people, we look at them as celebrities, characters in films. Trust me, I have given you everything that you need in order to really understand the royal court of the tarot. So if you are interested in taking your readings from just that surface level and getting deep with it like me, then you can do that on the link in the description box below. With that said, take care. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up, and I'll see you soon.